Big Boys
Big
Neighborhood.
Boy.
Like a reunion up in here, man. Wyclef is in the neighborhood.
man.
What's up,
Wyclef,
fam?
welcome back to the neighborhood,
How
man.
are you, man?
Man, I've been doing well. How have you been doing,
Man,
bro?
look, I can't even act like I don't know who you are, man.
Yeah, man.
I can't even. It's like, how you doing? You
Man,
know,
yeah.
we go back so
We
far.
have good calendars between us,
Yeah.
man. And it's a trip to Wyclef. You gave a damn about me when people didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like you really took care, especially like in videos, shows, you know what I'm saying? And I gotta apologize to you as well because now that I, you blow out a few more candles, you get a little more wisdom. I used to use you a lot.
It's
How?
fine.
Yeah, you know,
You're my man, though.
I do, and I'm glad that you still say that. But
You don't have to apologize.
You
man.
sure? Because
I'm
hindsight.
so sure. You know what I mean?
thank you, bro. Thank
I
you.
love you, brother.
Thank
you. Know
you.
What I mean? It's all love.
You never caught on like we would invite you in and there would always be a guitar there or
Just randomly.
Yeah.
I just assumed you like my guitar player.
you never knew that I charged listeners to come in and sit in the studio with you and you would do
I always
acoustic
thought you
sets
was
with
like,
us.
yo. I was like, this guy's a real good guy.
Yeah. I was a good businessman.
Yeah.
I was a very good businessman.
best.
But what's going down with Wyclef now, man? Like I know that Wyclef, you always stay amazingly busy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when people say, "Oh man, music is my life," music is your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'm really excited after the campaign of Haiti trying to become president. I came back to America completely confused about what I'm going to do next. I went to Sweden. I spent some time with Avicii. Avicii passed away. He had committed.
Yes, sir.
So he was really really tight. And we had a great music relationship. And I would say after that, I came back to New York. I was like, what's my next move in the music business? And there was a small label called Heads Music. It was an all-female independent label ran by Madeline Nelson. What I liked about what that label was doing was artist development, because major labels, they're not putting out money no more for artist development. It's literally they go by what's hot on YouTube and the analytics. Once you blow up
And
on
here you are.
YouTube, here you are. So I like that label because they was doing it the reverse way. So I partnered up with them, and became one of the partners, and then so I was one of the partners to back this small label, and I have to tell you that's probably one of the best moves that I've done because and Madeline Nelson, very shrewd businesswoman, no joke. I went to her. Shout out to DJ Khaled. You know how far I go back to
DJ
Khaled.
Khaled. Go ahead now.
You know what I love about you? I'm waiting for Khaled to say why Clef was the first person that put me on TV. Source, Khaled. I'm still waiting for you to say that.
Go ahead.
So you
now.
see how you was like, yo, I ain't gonna blow my brother. Anything I need, he got me. Trust me.
Yeah. But
Nah, he always got me. That, but for me, the label was like, look, we with you, but we want you to do what you did for Shakira, for Mary
Yeah,
J,
man.
for Lauren, with a whole slew of young talent. So what I love about Heads Music, I just get to be Smokey in the cut, and my passion is developing talent. So I'm very excited. So this is what I call chapter 2, a lot of great music from what I feel is the next millennial, you know what I mean? And as far as like me, I just got a big Netflix deal. Netflix is going to be doing my life, right?
Oh.
But what's dope about it was because I wanted the first story to be, you see how we started the interview and you was talking how far we known each other.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think people understand the struggle. The struggle is the hardest part because with the struggle, it's real. So I don't want a kid to see me now.
Right.
I want him to see me in a village in Haiti. Like I want him to see the first 10 years of the Wyclef life. So we're gonna do it. It's gonna be animated the same way Cinderella or Rio. Heavy. And it's called Prince of Port-au-Prince. So it's completely a real story. Long after I'm gone, when kids go back the same way they look at Cinderella, and I'm gauging it from age 6 to 12. And I feel this story is important because how do we escape poverty? Is through imagination. Whether if we're in the hood,
for
we're in
real.
a hut, and so it's gonna be very, very dope. So I'm back in a great space, man.
That's amazing to hear.
With music now, are you still happy with music or the music business?
Well, I think for me, remember, I was coming up in the 90s, and as a producer, You know me, I always either keep a guitar or a beat machine.
Yeah.
So when we did the Fugees and when we did Killing Me Softly,
Ooh,
right?
my
So for
damn.
example,
Oh
so-
yeah, I forgot y'all did do that.
Uh-huh.
No,
but check it out. So one time, two times. So when we did this, so as a producer, I'm trying to find my way, right? Because when I tell people my mission was not I didn't never want to be famous. I studied jazz in high school. My focus was like, how do I take pop music and flip it like Quincy Jones did? So for me, that's always been the mission. Man, when we did Killing Me Softly, Big Boy, we made them publishers so much money because I didn't know what the business was like, right? So I was
Right.
like, oh, I
No
could just go
idea.
ahead and do a record and then, turn around. And so next thing you know, man, publishers are making like 30 to 40 mil. You could think what that pub did, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm on the wrong side of the business, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
can't just be on the
Yeah.
production. So for me, I started getting heavy into publishing, right? Because I was like, I want to write songs that no matter if I'm not around, that my daughter's okay and her daughter's okay.
Right.
Keep
So I
eating.
think so with me, what's beautiful is, is when I get a call from DJ Khaled, for example, right? And he's like, yo, Clef, you know we the best, right? I'm like, all right, Khaled, go ahead, wait for it. So, remember the song you wrote for Santana? He said, yo, so you think you call Santana so we could get clearance? I've been having this idea with Rihanna. I've really been like meditating on this. And then so it was deep, right? Because now I'm on the other side of the fence, right? Because as a publisher, I own some of like the biggest songs, whether if it's hipster, it's almost like your boutique is like, it's a boutique of Bugattis, right? Because it's not, some
Yeah.
people can have a boutique and it's like you go in there and it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? But so with that, I'm always excited about music because for me, when you hear Wild Thoughts, that's me. That's my back. It's almost like it makes me
Yeah.
feel good when you hear like kids like Young Thug and they song is called Wyclef Jean.
Yeah.
It makes me feel great when you see kids like Kodak Black dancing with his mama to Yele, Lady Haiti, Wyclef song. So it's like, when you see like Gunner and he's like, yo, I want to work with Wyclef Jean, Beyonce. It's almost like for me, the space that I'm in is I don't just say like I'm down with the youth, right? The youth know that I'm really down.
Yeah.
Like not fake down. Like it's like if you like, yo, Clef, how much you like Kendrick Lamar, right? And I'd be like, yo, I really think he's dope. He said, how dope do you think he is? And so we live in modern day. And I'd be like, man, I actually took a Kendrick Lamar song and did the whole song over to send him the signal. Like I took the DNA song and flipped it to send that signal. Because for me, in hip hop, this is how you pay acknowledgement to artists that you love, right?
Right.
Because remember back in the days, whether if it was Otis Redding or different guys, if somebody like the Rolling Stones, they would show up, they would do the Rolling Stones. If the Beatles loved the blues, they would show up and do the blues. So for me, it's a beautiful space because it's like I landed exactly where I wanted to land. Because you have to understand, when me and you was in Gone to November,
Yes, sir.
right, and we was doing the video, like when people Google that,
Yeah, please.
and Google that, and so here go your boy, I'm like Mama Michelle Marbell, and I'm singing because I always said like for me musicality is what was gonna last. So it's crazy because now we're the year that we in, I know that there are rappers from my era that are highly upset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
At
yeah,
like
yeah.
the new
the
generation.
new-
Yeah, they're like,
yeah.
yo, man, this ain't no singing, man. This done mumble rapping.
This
This ain't,
isn't hip-hop.
so
This isn't rap.
yeah, but then what I always remind people is that's what they said about us.
Mm-hmm.
They was like, yo, this ain't rap, what we're doing. So it's almost like every generation will have a language. But the songs will always be the songs. So if you write great songs, it don't matter the era. So for me, I think it's exciting. It's different, right? Because you don't have, it's like if you're gonna put music out, you don't need a date. You don't need a time. You put the music out and you work it. So for me, the only people that it hurts is sort of like people back in the days that used to waste money and just sign anything, and then A&Rs that would just take the budget over the sky. Right, this stuff don't exist no more. So literally, I think like we're back in the roots, but the kids today can literally make more money, right?
Yeah.
Every generation makes more money. So with one song, if a kid is streaming one tune now, if he does that right, he literally can make $10 million, right? So for me, I think that music is at a great place around the entire world.
I love that you said that because
Yeah.
usually you'll see people are a little more upset, and you got to think when you say back in the days, it was, that wasn't hip hop. That's not hip hop. That's not rap. That's not this. And even further than that, that's not music.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right. That's right.
So-
That wasn't music. That's what they used to say.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we've definitely seen an evolution that some don't embrace. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you'll say, "Man, what are people doing with what we gave them as well?" You know what I'm saying? As long as people respect it. When I see, and I mean it's a new day. When I see you, pissing on your platinum plaques and wiping your ass on stuff, I'm like, maybe it doesn't mean the same. But I mean, I'm probably in a different era of respect as well.
Yeah.
What Wyclef, what you got going now?
Well, I think right now I'm building what will be the first hip hop guitar of the world. 2 years in, I'm really excited about this. We're working out of Switzerland, so it's like, just as a hip hop kid, to watch, like what Dr. Dre did. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea of like taking sound, to be bold enough to be on a microphone right now to say, yeah, well, I'm about to build a hip hop guitar.
And what is a hip hop guitar?
And a hip hop guitar is, the word hip hop is eclectic, right? For every form of music. So I literally taught myself how to play the instrument in the hood. So what we do is we call it hip hop because I am the first hip hop guitarist of our entire generation. And people say, well, how is that so? I said, well, go back to vocab. I'm the first rapper ever in existence to rap with an acoustic guitar, and it worked. And at the end of the day, you go back and you see my acoustic guitar in the projects with a lot of graffiti on it. So the idea is, with this guitar, I'm going to teach you how to play it within 10 minutes. The algorithm that I'm using is literally coming from my mind. So I'm not going to tell my daughter to play the Fugees. I'm just going to give it to her, right? And then she could download the app, put it on her guitar.
Wow.
And now she decides what she wants to play. So what I'm creating, like through AI, it's an algorithm where literally I can teach you how to play. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
How far off are we from that? Because
we're like
I bought a
Is
guitar
that
years
ready?
ago and I still can't play.
that's no problem. But we're like a year and a half from where we want to be, because the combination of the guitar and the app has to go together. And then it's me giving you the lessons.
So you have to create all the lessons.
Yeah, but it's very like simple, like with AI and everything. So the end result of the guitar is this. I want you to be able to have your phone and you say Wu-Tang Clan, 36 chambers, like Alexa
Wow.
or whatever, and then the guitar, now. You like slow it down. No. Speed it up. You know what I mean? Where you pick what you want to play. You know what I'm saying? We're excited about that. The second thing is the new. So how do I Clef put music out in
Yeah.
2019, right? For it to even relatively make sense, right? So what I decided to do is, when I look at all the streaming services, they have what's called playlists, right?
Right.
So the playlist, literally, you have a playlist, right?
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
has a playlist. So
Right.
at the end of the day, but me, I'm a producer, and I love to write music and I love to curate talent. So I said, well, how do I create a new playlist? But now it's not a playlist. It's from the mind of the producer. So what I decided to do is, the new series of how Wyclef put music out, it's going to be compilations, and they're going to be called Wyclef Goes Back to School,
Yeah.
right? So the idea of Wyclef Goes Back to School, similar to when I did the score. If any go back and listen to the score, you only knew Wyclef, Lauren, and Praz. 70% of the people on the score you never knew. You just loved the
Right,
music.
right.
And I think people never talk about that part.
Right.
Like when I said John Forte, you know who he is, but no one understands. Akon was on the score.
Yeah.
And this is how he got found. The Outsiders, everybody, Rod Digger, everybody ended up getting a deal from a project that I created the same way like DJ Muggs, you know, when he did the Assassins and all of that.
So
So
It's
what
an
we're gonna
iconic
do?
project, by the
Yes,
way.
insane. You know what I mean? So this is the era I'm from. So at the end of the day, when you go up on all these platforms and you pick up Wyclef Goes Back to School, production is crazy, artist is crazy. I'm hoping every volume you at least find one artist on there
Right.
that you automatically say, holy crap, this could be the next Erykah Badu. Holy crap, this could be the next Mary J. This could be the next Alicia Keys. So what I did was decided to do my form of curation. And my form of curation of Wyclef Goes Back to School is producing what's in my brain. The reason why it's back to school, I took the 97 Sonics and I've learned every modern Sonics today, right? From Logic, Ableton, every Sonic that the kids are using, right? So I was in the studio with my little blood, Jeremy Torres, kids, and they're amazed, right? Because they see, holy crap, Uncle Wyclef plays the computer like it's a keyboard, right? But then he turned around and could play the keyboard. Then he could. So I look for kids with similar like DNAs, but they're just 20 something. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what I'm excited about. So the Wyclef Goes Back to School. We'll be presenting you series of artists. We have like Jeremy Torres from Puerto Rico. I call him like literally one of my apprentices. Jazzy Amra, who's behind me from the Bronx.
Hello.
I don't know what's going on with the Bronx water. But
Yeah,
my
man. Something in the
killing
water.
it.
Huh?
I'm telling you, whatever, like, you know how there be a groove coming from a certain place right now. So
Bronx.
so Jazzy's on the project, and it's just incredible because literally I get to be a producer and produce, and then we travel with this. So the way that we did it, I did master classes throughout all of America. This is how we picked.
So
the
you
kids.
actually went to
Yeah,
universities
so we
and
have the
schools and stuff.
universities, the schools we went, and I loved it because it was like, it's the reverse of what the reality shows is doing, right? Because a reality show can either help you or destroy
Yeah,
you
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're an artist.
And mostly
if
they
you're a
just-
singer,
Yeah.
if you're a singer, 9 times out of 10, it's going to destroy you.
Yeah, very much so.
So what we did was, I was like, we're just gonna go to the schools and let the kids put it online. Let it be credible from an aspect of institution. So this is gonna be volume 1. Wyclef Goes Back to School. We're also gonna have Wyclef Goes Back to School UK. Wyclef Goes Back to School. So once again, if there's a volume that musically of something that you think I'm missing, you'd be like, okay, because these are going to live iconically long past me. It's a new form of curation where a streaming service can't bring it to you. And I'm hoping that Timberland is listening to this.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Teddy Riley's. I'm hoping because at the end of the day, it's like, you guys have to understand that the power that y'all have, like y'all really done sold hundreds and millions of records. So you can't just say, here's a curation of a playlist by Teddy Riley. Here's a curation.
Right,
No, Timberland,
right.
I need y'all to go to the studio and to keep doing what y'all do, because the more music like that we could put out, the better it is moving forward. So I think the streaming services are going to need us, because at the end of the day, we want to create something that create platforms for artists from the real level of discovery. So,
And Wyclef Goes Back to School. That's March 15th.
actually, we're putting it out before. Like, I think we're putting out this Friday.
Yeah, you
Right,
said
this
music
is
has
what's
no
beautiful,
date,
right?
though.
Yeah, so music has no date. So we're gonna put it out this Friday, and keep in mind this is still Wyclef. So I'm very lethal. So when I'm borrowing up with a 21-year-old, I'm not letting him go. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we going in, like it's incredible. So the music is coming out incredible. Records to look out for: Woman Smoke.
Women smoke.
Yeah,
And what
Woman
is that?
Smoke is it literally is, you know how my records are. So I talk from the point of view of, y'all don't want to feel a woman smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tell 'em.
Featuring Jazzy Amra. There's another record called Demons and Joy. For me, it's like with after the loss of Avicii and the depression. It's like, I see how real, and I think this is something like, 'cause when we were coming up, the drugs just was different. So what's going on now with the drugs today, with the youth? It's more pharmaceutical, right?
Yeah.
So it leaves the after effect of a level of depression that I've never seen in my life. You know what I mean? So we got a song called Demons in Joy, where now it's the kids that are talking, Jeremy and different kids. So and the most controversial record on there is a record called Baba. Baba was after I took my DNA test and I found out I was Nigerian.
100%. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah, on the joint. And so it's deep because they say you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you're from, right? So I had to, because it's certain things you do in life, you have to say who the hell was before you that even makes you think you could do this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
yeah.
out of nowhere, I'm like, yo, I'm going to be president. You know what I mean? And I go down there, build a paramilitary, straight up, bandana up, like really on my Che Guevara. I'm like, yo, what makes me feel that I could do this? It's so funny because you go back and you trace your bloodline. And for it to be like African and the way it is, that means that those people really had to fight to keep their DNA. Because literally with DNA,
Right.
you breaking it up with the slaves and different people. So I did a record called Baba, and on
video.
and in the video, I put myself on a noose.
Yeah.
And I hang myself,
It's pretty hard to see.
and I break myself from the noose, right? So my daughter's 13 years old. Black History Month, she goes to school. They replay the incident that happened 40 years ago. They show her how the dogs were attacking the people, right? They show horrific pictures of what the KKK did. So, but at the end of the day, right, the part of the story, the reason why I put myself on the noose was not necessarily the noose. It was the fact that I took myself out of the noose. So at the end of the day, you're just talking about the hanging. But when you talk about Nat Turner, why are you not talking about the other part of it? So the idea of Baba coming out Black History Month and giving the youth, at World Star, they ain't never see so much positive comments with that video. You know what I'm saying?
heard that.
Because it made the youth start to think differently. So the idea of the video is not you and the noose, it's what you gonna do inside of the noose. If you look deep in the video, I'm in the noose in my backyard in a mansion. So if you looking, like, this video was not, I shot the video in the back of my mansion and I put myself on a noose. And I want to, the signal that I'm sending is at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? If you a black man, it don't matter if you have money or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You still trapped within the same space of society, but you can't stay there. You got to get out. And then so at the end of the day, with everything that I do, it's better to be right than be popular. Sometimes I know I take a flack for it, which I don't care.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I feel that if you are going to take champagne and you're going to pour it on a woman, sexy bikini, right? And she wants you to do that, that's cool. If she don't want you to do that, you don't do that, right? But our culture celebrates that in music videos,
Yeah,
right?
a
At the end of
lot.
the day, right? We celebrate that. We celebrate the idea of bands, you know what I'm saying? Like throwing bands. I got songs.
Money everywhere.
Perfect Gentleman. I love the strip. I mean, we all talk about that, right? But so at the end of the day, why can't we be showing like the idea of like saying you could be on the noose, but then you could move yourself from there? Because if we can't do that, there was a lot of resistance in the video. I feel like you just telling my people our job is just to promote certain amount of things.
Right.
So what are we supposed? So at the end of the day, I'd rather be on the right side of history. So when you hear Baba, it's very defiant. It talks about our history. The beats are hard, but at the same time, I love the signal that it sent out, because World Star was like, holy crap, like they ain't really, because for the youth, they not expecting them to embrace this kind of information,
change,
right?
yeah.
But I'm like, y'all don't understand the youth. A gang is a tribe. Until you understand the ideology of the streets, it'll be hard for you to understand what you think they won't accept.
Right.
It's like when there was like, okay, Tupac is coming out, Biggie is coming out, and the Fugees is coming out. And they go, look, man, the Fugees ain't going to survive because the streets, they want to hear Tupac They want to hear Biggie. They want to hear Jay-Z. This thing y'all talking about. And guess what? At the end of the day, when I'm sitting with Tupac or I'm sitting with Biggie or Jay-Z, it's 4 authors, right? From all similar backgrounds of walk of lives that's going to explain the story 4 different ways.
Yes, sir.
That we know that the streets will have the conversation.
Yes.
So the cynics are constantly trying to patrol us and telling us this is how you have to do it. This is what people will accept. So I think the jig is up. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's what's up, baby.
Wyclef, I'm going to ask you the obvious, and we're going to move past it. Fugees reunion.
Oh.
You know what? I was with Dave Chappelle. I think 2-3 years ago. We was in Canada. He did the big. It was a big Canadian fest. That's the last time I partied with Dave Chappelle. And I think the only person that could make a Fuji reunion happen is Dave Chappelle.
Is Dave Chappelle?
Really?
Because
All right.
I say
I'm
that,
gonna
so you
call
gotta
Dave.
call Dave.
I'm going to call Dave
Call him
Chappelle.
right now because we need
You
it.
have to call Dave.
We need it.
I
Let
think
me see.
Dave. Remember,
Anybody got a number on Dave
Block
Chappelle?
Party,
Yeah.
right? Dave Chappelle. He made it happen. That's the guy.
I need
What
this
was it like-
reunion. I need Lauren. I need Praz. I need you back together.
That's Dave Chappelle.
All righty.
Please call him. Are you calling
Dave
him?
Chappelle, the
We're
agent.
calling Dave
If he
Chappelle.
does it,
gonna
you're
see.
immediately on board.
Of course, but everyone loves Dave. We all love Dave. No one says no to Dave.
We all love the Fugees. Like we need that.
Yeah.
Not y'all.
Does it make you? What emotions come up when you hear people say how much they love the Fugees, how much they want to see that come back together?
I mean, well, for me, I love everything that I did. That's my high school band. That's like my Beatles. You know what I'm saying to you? But like John Lennon, I mean, I done try to become president. I seen famine around the world. I seen, it's just, I'm in a different headspace. You feel me? Like with what I seen. But the Beatles is the Beatles, right? The Fugees is the Fugees. At any time when the signal goes off, right, I got the guitar and I got the drum machine and I'm always ready to go. You feel me?
Do you have a specific memory when you guys were making the score that you like that just stands out during the process of that album?
Yeah, I would say the best memory about the score was the fact, if anyone is listening, do not get discouraged if your first project don't go the way you want it to go. Like, this is so dope because everyone constantly talk about the score, but nobody talks about Blended on Reality, which was the Fugees' first album. So I was like, at the end of the day, we called it the score because we was like, we're going to settle the score because no one is paying attention. So at the end of the day, for me, like, you know, on the score, I said the magazine said the guy should go solo and I said the magazine said the girl should go solo and the guy should stop rapping and vanish like Menudo. I took it to I took it to the
Menudo.
listen. I took it to I like Menudo too. I took it. Shout out to Menudo. Cause they probably waiting for me outside.
Right here. He wasn't talking about the group. He was talking about actually eating menudo and how it vanishes
He likes that too.
out your bowl.
Like
But
both.
I was saying this is what rap allows us to do. So with the score, I would say the greatest memory was the fact that we was like, okay, we're going to play in the NBA this year and we're gonna come out with a ring. And none of us was like thinking other than that. When I was like, we used to be number 10, now we coming in one. Like, we just came like, we're going to talk. We're gonna talk the talk because y'all going to listen. So I always tell people that your best work and your best time is gonna come like when you most down. So I remember with the Fugees, I was like, look, we are not going to be just rappers singing. I was like, we're going to be a band. And then so I think that people today still care because remember how many bands come out in the 90s.
So many.
But something about when you be like the Fugees, it's because the Fugees ain't do music for themselves. Like, we literally, it was a place of refuge where you Latino, you Indian, you Middle Eastern, you African American, you European, anything you are, you're like, yo, I can go on this piece of material and I know I'm gonna find refuge in myself. You know what I'm saying? So
Do you ever
was saying-
listen to any of the Fugees, or is it hard to listen to?
No, I mean I create all of it.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
I don't-
we got a feeling of just being, consumers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it different knowing the layers of creating it, the production,
Yeah.
the good, the bad, the ugly?
Nah, for sure, 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could take a record like Ready or Not, right? So Ready or Not, I did that in the hood with an MPC 60,
Wow.
and I just with one loop, right? So now at the end of the day, this is 1996. So this is why I could pick up my computer right now and do a trap beat in 2.1 seconds, right? And they ain't gonna even know it's me. It's as simple as that. It's because when we did Ready or Not, the simplicity,
Love it.
right? The best hip hop records that we love is not more than 4 sounds on the record or 5 sounds the most. Whether we talking about the West Coast, the Mid, it's just that simplicity. So for me, when I go back to certain records, I like to reference. And I think like the Score, the Carnival, certain records just give you the blueprint of just saying, as you move forward, you know where you're going. I remember when I met Drake at my event, a year late Haiti thing, and then I saw him, and then he gave me a hug I'll never forget, and just the way like he embraces the Carnival, right? The Score, like, and looking online and seeing Drake as a youth. I think he's barely 14, and the verse he's freestyling is Ready or Not, like my verse, right? So for me, when you look at things like that, right, it just makes you more so understand your position, and then you can't like relieve your position. Like you have to know who you are. Like you can't, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden it's 2019 and you're like, what I'm doing when I'm doing my thing. You know, because
Like, what is he doing?
that's not what Drake was listening to, right? When it come to you, like he was listening to Now That I
Something
Escape,
else.
Sleepwalker, Awake. You know, so
Yeah.
it's like, so it's important that we remain like ourselves in this space, and I think that's what makes us incredible. And I think for me, what I learned from the Score was like, if you take 1997 the Score and you put it out today, it doesn't matter. You're gonna have the same effect.
Yeah.
You take the Chronic, you put it out today, you're gonna have the same effect. So I just think like great music is what we strive to constantly like do. You know what I mean?
Wyclef, I see that you have people with you.
Always.
What is going on? And introduce the people that are with you.
Yes, I have with me Jazzy Amra from the Bronx. I have a Jeremy Torres.
And Jeremy has a guitar.
Yeah, Jeremy keeps a guitar.
All right.
Reminds me of myself.
I know, man.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, you really play this thing? You know? So what I love is, so coming up, the Latin culture has always been part of Wyclef. And my biggest songs ever are the Latin songs, right? So
And which
like,
songs were those?
Hips Don't Lie.
Hips Don't Lie.
So that broke, yeah. So
Yeah.
that broke, right? So that broke every record, like, right? So for me, I remember being with Evie Queen. You know what I'm saying? That's how far
La
back,
diva, la potra, la
right?
caballota.
So I was with Evie
I love
Queen,
her.
right, in the beginning, and then I was showing the Young Bucks. I was like, yo, I did songs with Aventura, right? I was like, I was with Romeo before, and then I played them,
Celia
you know, yeah,
Cruz.
so Celia Cruz. So with Jeremy Torres, I just love the rawness and the vibe of just how he embraces his culture. But I would say he's the first artist in a while that I heard, whether if he's singing Spanish or he's singing English, it comes from the same soul. And then with Jazzy,
Hold on, let's bring Jeremy.
Oh, yeah,
up.
yeah.
Jeremy, I want to hear
like
it.
Come on, you all back in. Get on this
Jeremy.
mic right here. No, you sit
Jeremy
down,
got
Wyclef.
30
I don't know if
seconds,
you're not gonna just be over there and just hold a guitar and things. I'm like, man, what if he like big? I really don't play it. Wyclef,
It just looks good.
yeah, Wyclef just wanted me to hold on to it.
we give you what we call in the Wyclef school, it's called you have 30 seconds. When we say go, you go. If we love it, we're gonna cheer. If not, we're gonna boo.
Go, damn.
La colombiana, la dominicana, la venezolana, la americana. They look like Rihanna. I just wanna love you. Cuando bailas así yo me pierdo. Oh. Las mujeres de Cuba, con esa figura, carrita tan chula, tú sí que estás dura, dura, dura. Mi reina de Puerto Rico le encantan locura. Yeah, ella te bebe y te fuma. The one that Carlos Santana, she wanna rock with a real one. Oh, I just want to know. We going? Yeah.
Go ahead now, boy.
Jeremy turns.
Give me mine, man.
Show Big.
Yeah, I used to go to this spot called the Guitar Depot. Then they closed.
No,
Yeah, man, they closed down.
Tell him,
All
man.
right, man. I didn't want to do this, man. You know what I'm saying? Jeremy, it's not a battle. You know what I'm saying? Is this?
Oh, it is a battle.
This is a collaboration.
I don't think it's tuned. Here you go. Here you go. No, you take that over there. Watch. Go ahead now. All righty, yeah.
Man, I was about to give you a guitar lesson.
Yeah, because I do want one. I don't want to wait for the album.
Give me an E. So I'm gonna bring out the Bronx.
All right.
Jazzy Amra.
Right there. Get on that one right there.
We gonna catch a vibe.
Yep.
You ready? Let me.
Yeah. Oh, so married for y'all. Yay. Oh. We our love is true and through and though we made it through the storm. I really want you to realize I really want to put you on. I've been searching for someone to satisfy my every need. Won't you be my inspiration? Be the real love that I need. Real love. Hey.
Go ahead now.
I'm searching for a real love. Someone to set my heart free, real love. I'm searching for a real love. Yeah.
Go ahead now. Man. Hey, Wyclef, do you remember Gone to November?
Yeah, man, I do.
Can you do that for me, man?
I got you.
Oh,
man.
my God.
Ready?
This-
Neighborhood.
Yeah, man. Man, let me tell you, this is about to take
Make
me.
it right for the
Oh, man.
I gotta make this
I can't tell you how many times we sat down and man, this is it.
This the original trap song for my homie Big Boy. Yeah. Gone to November for all my hustlers making runs. Remix video with my boy Big Boy. As I proceed to take you back to the era. Let's go. Every time I make a run, girl, you turn around and cry. I ask myself why, oh why. See, you must understand. Oh, I can't work no 9 to 5. So I'll be gone till November. Said I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November, yeah. You tell my girl I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. Tell my homie Big Boy I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. I see you crying, but girl I can't stay. I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till Girl, I gotta leave. Please don't cry. When I come back, you know the limit's the sky. I'll take you out to dinner to your favorite spot. Feed you an aphrodisiac just to get you high. Drive by movies by the cemetery. If my corpse can talk, I would tell him I was sorry. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Some die with the name, some die nameless. Every time I make a run, girl, you turn around and cry. I ask myself why, oh why, Big Boy. See, they must understand why Clef's in the neighborhood. And I am back from November. Said I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. Tell my mama I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November. I'll be gone till November, yeah. You'll tell my hustlers I'll be gone till November. April, May. I see you crying, but girl, I can't stay. I'll be going to remix in the neighborhood. Gone to November, he ain't coming back. I was talking about my homies, man, that's so crack. Caught in the trap, hit from the back, they hit the steel. Like the owl boy that's hidden on the dollar bill. Welcome to the Rotten Apple, city of lights. No matter how they shine, they can't steal the nights. Cause when the ghosts knock, just before you guess, red dot at your chest, there you go. Better be with them artillery pack, they be jumping like Jack when they jump out the back. That's time that they got, they be flying through the elephant pay back. Gone till November, catching the vibe in the neighborhood. Gone to November, catching the vibe in the neighborhood. Gone to November, I'm catching the vibe in Big Boy's neighborhood. Grab these notes, grab these 2 notes. Let me see how good you are, man. You on the spot. Hold that. Yeah, but plug it. I be gone till November, I be gone till November, yeah. Yo, tell my mama I be gone till November, I be gone till November. Tell my homies in the gang, yeah, yo, I be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. I see you crying, but girl, I can't stay. I be gone till November, I be gone. Wyclef from Big Boy's neighborhood.
Wyclef Jean in the neighborhood. Man, I was about to jump in, but I was waiting because usually back in the day, you used to wave me in. But we were just talking about when you think about Wyclef goes back to school, the talent that you were very instrumental in finding, you know, giving people hit records.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember years ago as well, even with the remix of No, No, No. You know what I'm saying? How you flipped that for Destiny's Child and what that went to. Do you still get a chance to, or have you talked to Beyonce, or where you guys at now?
I speak to everybody like off and on. I haven't talked to Beyonce in a minute. Last time I saw Jay-Z was at the Clive Davis thing.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I'm saying to you. But once again, as a producer, I just do it and keep it moving, right? But if you go back to Formula, the only person that was rhyming, singing was Lauren at the time. So what I did as a producer, and then I think I was watching a video with Jay-Z when he talked about how when he heard the No, No, No remix, and then Beyonce was literally sounded like they was rhyming very fast, right? So I purposely did that, right? So the reason I did that was because knowing that Destiny Child was from Texas, and at the time in Texas, the rappers were rapping double timing, right?
Oh, wow.
So it was like, so I wanted to give a singer, because with Lauren, she was the only one rhyming, singing with the cadence. So I was like, if I could take Destiny Child and put them on that Texas, that hey, you know? So for me, that excites me because whatever that formula was, like even if Beyonce is listening now, she know what that session was like in the studio. So for me, once again, I'm just grateful. Like Khaled would say, that I have been instrumental at touching the hand, you know, of many. And I would say one of my greatest memories still to today is probably the great late Whitney Houston.
Yeah, man.
So,
your
you know,
love is my
so
love,
for me,
and my
yeah,
love is
your love, surreal.
Oh man.
So for me, it's like surreal, because when I see the docs of a lot of these folks, it touches me because the personal relationship, you know what I'm saying to you. And I think when artists get put on that pedestal, right, people forget the fact that they're human. You know what I'm saying to you. So I'm just glad that I get to see the human side of everyone that I ever work with and continue to work with.
Wyclef, when you did No, 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 was the label on board for you to take this group that they were trying to put out and it was a slower song? Were they on board, or did they trust you with the sound that you had created?
Well, I mean, I was coming from the carnival, right? So it was just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a weirdo, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like at the end of the day, I'm still a scientist. So I think that they looked at it to the point of view of, you know, this kid got the pulse. So we don't know what he gonna do, but he gonna catch a vibe. You know what I mean? And then for me, like I said, sometimes I feel like I'm cheating because I'm a choir director, right? So I'm from my daddy's church. So for me, even like I remember Justin Bieber. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, my name is Justin Bieber. Wyclef, can you give me a shout out on my Facebook? So we all have a pulse, and I have a pulse of special talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? So people be like, yo, you've done so much. Like, where you going? And I say, actually, this is chapter 2. Quincy ain't do Michael Jackson till he was 53.
Right.
I'm 49. So I think where I'm going, I'm headed to Thriller. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to where this next millennial takes us with a lot of these incredible new acts. You know?
Yeah, man. And you know what I love about it is that you really have your finger on the pulse that you help create. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like the one thing I always felt Wyclef that you were, and people, it's so easy to say, oh, you were ahead of your time. You were ahead of your time. You know what I'm saying? And you always looked at music on a global level. Even when we didn't know what you were doing, when you was introducing us to like either the Fugees or something solo or the Carnival, it was like, and then the sounds, to some people it got past us. Yeah. But others, it was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I see what he's doing. I see what he's incorporating here. I see what this sound is. And you took us around the world. How did you and Shakira, how did that relationship come together?
It's Shakira is beautiful.
Shakira.
So with Shakira, the original version of that song, I did it for a movie called Havana Nights, right? So I was trying to push my artist at the time, Claudette Ortiz.
Yes,
who also
man.
has Puerto Rican background.
Yeah,
right? So,
was that City High?
City High?
Yes, sir.
So my thing was like, I was trying to take her to another level. So I felt like, so the original version of Hips Don't Lie was done 2 years before Shakira.
Wow.
On Havana Nights soundtrack. It's called Dance Like This. That's how far back this record goes. So with Dance Like This, I did it with Clive Davis, one of my mentors. So we did the record, and after that, 2 years prior, I think I was with Donnie Ienner, and Donnie was like, yo, we need something for Shakira, you know what I'm saying? And then at night, Charlie Walk came to the studio and doing the movie, jumping on the tables and going crazy. And I was like, well, I think I have something, but we have to do it like a remix because I have an original version. I believe this record is I never call records hits, right?
Right.
I call them cultural phenomenons. So I was like, yo, I think this one, and I don't use that word often. I'd be like, yo, I think this one's a cultural phenomenon. And so send it to Shakira. 5 minutes later, I'm on the phone with Shaki. And Shaki's like, Wyclef, I just had a dream about you, yesterday I had a dream about you, And I'm like, it's sort of like a Colombian talking to a Haitian. So it's completely a coconut conversation. You know what I mean? It's like we connect so well. Like, wait, I'll see you in Miami. Okay, I'll see you in Miami too. So we get in Miami, and then so I geared my brain up for remix mode. You know what I mean? And then I was like, how is this gonna be special? So we get in, and then I start. I'm in the studio. Jerry Wonder's in the studio. Shaki's in the studio, and all I remember, like, I'm catching a vibe, and Shakira was hovered over my shoulder like Jazzy was, and she was like, the record is not a hit if my hips don't move, you know what I'm saying?
That's
true. So
true.
now we start getting, you know what I mean? Because you want to see Shakira
Hell
do
yeah.
the thing.
Hell yeah.
They're like, yo, and then she start
Signature
going,
move.
baby. And she start going like almost like I was at a ceremony in Colombia or something, you know what I mean? With all of the
so
guards.
good.
And they didn't lie. Huh?
And and the energy came strong. And what I loved about Shakira was her participation in the record, because she wasn't just going to do a song. And I think this is when pure genius happened, because she didn't indulge in, okay, Clef, right, let's just do a song. She indulged and was like, what's this video gonna look like? What can I do like Michael Jackson that's gonna be totally different? So for me, I was amazed by that, because the records that go all the way are when the producers and the artists can connect on a complete vision. Shakira did not come to the studio for a hit song.
Right.
Oh, wow.
She came for that's why I say it's the Colombians and Haitians. You know what I mean? Like we ain't selling cocaine to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we felt like it was bigger than that. We
Yeah.
felt like Colombia was getting the Haiti together and we was gonna present something to the world. And we felt like immigrant power. So we was like, how can we send this kind of
Message.
signal? So that's how the record registered, man. You know what I mean? So
And what did you call it? A culture what?
phenomenon, baby.
Culture phenomenon.
Yeah, that lived way past us. You know.
What about the product GMB when you guys did Maria Maria with
Yeah.
Carlos Santana?
Yeah, so it's so quick. I was with Santana, man. He's one of the few people that it's like, you know, I constantly text. He's probably listening now. And I just loved him, right? So as a guitar player, I was amazed by Santana. And Santana will tell you, when Wyclef came up to me, he just sat on the Fender Rhodes. I mean, you know this, but a lot of people don't play. I play different instruments. And then so I literally, when I sat on this keyboard, so the first groove that just came out of my head on the keyboard was that was the first thing that came out of my head. So literally, I looked at Santana and I was just like bum, ba-da-bum, bum. And then and I got into this record. And for me, what's ill about this is a part of why Clef, maybe like people will get when I'm long gone. A record to me, the song is the hit, not the individual, right? And what that meant was like, Clive was like, Carlos Santana is the superstar, right? He did Woodstock. So how you going to do an instrumental record and it's still going to be a Santana record, right? So I was like, against this Latin funk, I want to find a kid that could sing like David Ruffins from The Temptations. Because I was like, you see, so everything that you see, it's always calculated in my head what I'm looking for. So I was like, yo, if I could find some kids with soul, and then sure out of nowhere, Praz was coming outside of Sony. 2 kids rolled up on him. One of them had a bandana, and people don't even know. Like, let me give you the real, which is funny. So, Product GMB is Money Harm and Sincere, right? Sincere from Product GMB, he manages Jeremy Torres.
Wow.
Okay, now watch this, right? So this is how the world works, right? So it gets crazier, right? So Sincere rose up on Prize, right? And Money Harm, and dudes is bandanaed up. They clicked up. So Prize is like, yo, right? They're like, yo. And he's like, nah, we just want to sing for you. And these dudes do not look like they singers. You know what I'm saying to you at the time? They look like they came in for something, you know? So they sing, and Prize was like, yo, I'm going to bring you to Clef right now. So he brings them to me. Now, Sincere is 17 years old. And Sincere is a Hoover Crip.
Oh, wow.
Right? So Sincere is 17, and he's trying to leave the street life behind. So he felt like if he could get a hold of this music, he can help a lot of his people from the hood get to that certain level. So I always had a connection with him because of that relationship of like, he was like, yo, you know what I mean? I'm not doing this no more, but I'm going to show my homies a different way to do it. So for me, it's like I always embraced that group because of like where they came from Hempstead. And they didn't even know who Santana was, right? Because they was young kids, right? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? So we put it together, and I would just say, like, once again, the reason why that record worked, because it was fusion coming from like the craziest places of the world. You had kids from the projects of Hampstead that was ready to sing their heart out on something. You know what I mean? You had Santana, you know, the great legend. You know what I mean? You had Jerry Wonder, like, here ready to go. And you know, I'm like Gershwin. So I'm like, okay, this is the place. So for me, once again, that was like one of those records that when Khalid told me that he was thinking about like redoing that for this generation, it was definitely it was insane. It was pretty incredible. So
Wyclef, how was it working with MJ?
MJ was He was a phenomenon. Like, for me, it was an out of body experience, right? Because I get a call, and it's like, hello,
Mhm.
yeah, hello, Wyclef, yeah, it's Michael Jackson, fam. On my mama, I said click.
You hung
You
up.
hung up?
I hung up.
Why? You thought
Because I thought,
you'd be
once again,
pranked?
like, what? We're like so big prankers. Like, this is
Yeah.
what we do every
Yeah,
day. So
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm the prank
Like, you're not getting
king.
me.
I'm like, yo, you are not getting me.
Like, how you tried it?
You
Like,
try, yeah. Yo, and the phone goes back up, and I pick up, and then he's like, "It's Michael Jackson. You know, I'm out here in Asia, and I'm watching the TV, and I see this guy walking through the airports, and these violins come out, and,
Oh my God.
and I'm like, who's this guy? Find him for me. This guy is a genius. I need to work with this guy." And then, so as he's talking, now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you start to trip out because your brain start to notice
you're like, oh.
this is Beat It on the other
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, this the
This
guy.
Mr.
This
Thriller.
This Mr. Thriller. Like, so trip out. And he says to me, when he comes in New York, he's going to come to see me. You know what I mean? So he come, we was at Sony Studio. And once again, FaceTime with the man. And I know everybody have their own experience with Michael Jackson that worked with him. I think mine was kind of unique because I was straight up, like, beyond real with him, because I wanted to have a real conversation. You feel what I'm saying to you? So when he first came in, he had the mask on, and he was trying to communicate with me like that. You feel me? So then we went to another smaller room. You feel me? And then I was like, yo, we're going to have a conversation. This mask got to come off, bro. Right? But regular, because we just two guys talking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? So, you know, we start talking, and he starts to tell me, he said, yo, you remind me of when I was with the Jackson 5. He said, you remind me of this guy, man. He was like, he's from the islands, but I can't, you know, like, my dad, he ain't really want us around him too much because there was, you know, smoking a lot of weed. He's like, yo, but you know, and I was like, Bob Marley? He was like, no, this is Peter Tosh.
Peter Tosh.
wow.
Mr. Peter Tosh.
So so he's, and you got to think, at one time, Peter Tosh was bigger than Barb. And what stopped Peter Tosh's career? Well, he was just a rebel. Like, he was not gonna subject to any rule. Can you imagine, like, Peter Tosh, you can't conform him to say, at that time, we're going to a radio interview, you can't smoke ganja on the interview. He'd look at you like, what you
what?
talk?
Yeah.
What y'all talk about? Me know how to do the interview then. You know.
Yeah. you
So-
tell Big Boy in his ass. I ain't going up there.
Me not tell. Yeah, tell Big Boy. Yeah, neighborhood. Me not doing interviews. So we had this conversation. Then we went back in the studio, and he started listening to what I was preparing for him. And all of that stuff is still at Sony. I don't know. You know, Sony has a lot of unreleased Michael stuff that they be doing. So what was my lesson in the studio that day? Right? And you got to understand, as someone who I consider like Quincy Jones, like a godfather, like a real one. So, of music. And to me, so he sits there and he starts to beatbox
Yeah.
Wow.
while he's listening to this music, and he goes from beatboxing to doing the guitar part with his mouth, and his feet is moving at the same time, and his right hand is playing the hi-hat. So then I looked, and it was like, yo, then I noticed that I was not crazy, because I always thought I was crazy, because the symphony lives in my head and it's in a visible space. So when I was seeing him, and it just made me like, holy crap, you know what I'm
gets
saying to
it.
you? And then he smiled at me because he was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You already know where it lives. So it was a very surreal time for me, like having like FaceTime. Then he chilled, the mask wasn't on, he relaxed, we had a good time, great conversations, you know what I'm saying?
And just with everything that's kind of going on now, the
Documentary.
documentaries, it's like people say, oh, you gotta separate it. You gotta separate it. I just wanted to talk to you just about your experience with Michael Jackson. Are your kids musical?
My daughter Angelina thinks she's a better producer than me.
Oh, does she now?
That's
She,
good.
um,
That's good.
She bringing the heat.
when we she don't play. So when we anything that she assumes is hot, she's going to send to me right away.
Mm-hmm.
Her ear is completely insane, because what she does is, I don't know what she gonna be at, right? Because I put her in every kind of instruments, but I just think the symphony lives in her head. So what made me come to the conclusion? Narcos, Migos.
Oh.
I don't even think Migos know that's why Clef playing that guitar, right? So in Narcos, which got cleared, you know what I'm saying, through the band, right? So my daughter is ill because when you hear the Narcos record, I'm not even paying attention. And then she comes to me, she's like, yo, Dad, my friends over here, they talking about this Migos Narcos. And I'm over here laughing. They don't even know that it's your guitar there. And it's crazy because if you go now, here's trivia, on Google, why Clef Will I Am, Let Me Touch a Button. That's the exact same guitar on Narcos.
Wow.
So this is what I'm trying to tell you. She's 13, so she's able to break the entire
Yeah.
record and go into
Yeah.
the parts. You see what I'm
Where
saying
this
to
is
you?
all coming from.
Yeah,
see
so
it.
for me, once again, I always say this is what's beautiful about kids. Like, they always gonna be better than you. And that's what makes it dope. Like, you, and in her head, like when we go into school, the best thing I would say is waking up and bringing my daughter to school in the morning. I don't think nothing beats that. She definitely calls it like daddy bonding time, even if she says nothing to me. And she keeps her headphone, and she's listening, I have to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
The exchange of the energy still
exchange
being
of
there.
energy, but she takes it out, and I think my wife was amazed, right, because her level of how eclectic she is, because she'll go from TLC to a Kendrick Lamar in 2 minutes and do not miss a beat. And I was like, yo, how the, what you know, TLC wasn't. So that's why I also commend BET for bringing a lot of those like doc music series back, because like the New Edition, all of that, because I'm watching the kids like actually so I definitely commend BT on doing a lot of that, because I even find my daughter learning a lot of that music
In that programming.
from and then it's really dope, because if they figure that music out with what they're doing today, it's going to be incredible.
Wyclef, you always been a person that talked about being an immigrant. You know what I'm saying? And you always stood up and you always yell Haiti. You know, when you look at where we are in the world today with Trump in the White House and the attack on immigration and immigrants, where's Wyclef? Where's your standing with that right now?
Well, the first thing is everyone has to constantly understand that a president's term is 4 years, right? So I think that's really where it starts. And I think that we vote for senators, right? You vote for mayors. You do it. So if you feel that something is not going with the likeness of the legislation, which caters towards you, your family, and the values of what your mom and their mom stood for, then you should not vote for it. My stance is for me, I am the son of an immigrant, and I would not be in this country if the idea of these United States of America did not exist. And I think so we all come to America from every part. You will this is like, we might as well call America immigrant state. It's all of us, like, because at the end of the day, we all are immigrants. So if someone wants to divide us with legislation, right, it's important that we understand that and we make sure that as we move forward, right, because at the end of the day, I really want people to understand the present term is 4 years. I would say everyone needs to focus on the house. You know what I mean? But the idea of how immigrants are treated, I would never agree with that kind of stuff because, right, my daddy comes here. He ain't break no law. He worked. And, right, because the true immigrant, right, man, let me tell you, like Haitians and Mexicans, you might as well call them brother, brother, or sister, sister. Same principle. Like, we come to this country. Our parents come to this country, and I watched my dad. Wyclef Jean's father did every job
Hard
you think
workers.
possible so that Wyclef could be here. My daddy cleaned the bathrooms. That's what my daddy did. Nobody else wanted to clean the bathrooms. My father cleaned the bathrooms. Not only did he clean the bathrooms, he dragged me with him. And he was like, you gonna clean these bathrooms too. And by the way, take this plunger and go in here, right? And we working at the Ramada Inn. And I'm like, yo, I'm not taking this plunger and going in there. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna
are.
take the plunger, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna plunge. And when you plunge, you're gonna plunge and be proud that you're plunging because this is America. And if you do it honest, you will get there. So that's how I feel.
And even when go ahead, Daniel, with Trump, when you see him take the platform and when he say, shithole countries, and you know what I'm saying, it seemed like the more brown certain areas are, different hues, that's when you start to see even more disrespect when it comes to being an immigrant here.
Yeah, once again, I denounce anything when it comes to like shithole countries, but at the same time, I want everybody to rise above that. And what that means is a lot of it is a distraction for the bigger play, right? So if you're looking at it right now, it's a lot of confusion. If you was to ask somebody like, yo, who they voting for, how are they voting, it almost looks like a mayhem right now. So I think that, and there's a book, Sun Tzu, The Art of War, right? So one of the ideas of distraction is to just create a fire, right?
Right.
And then everybody like, yo, fire, fire. And then you literally run towards the other direction.
Right.
So I think that as we head forward, right? Because if we already know what's happening. And in order for it to change, we have to change legislation. And we have to really hold senators, governors, and mayors accountable.
Yeah,
100%.
And it is a process. And I know sometimes, Clef, people don't believe in the process, but that's the process we have. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we have.
Yeah.
Think
And this-
that what we do not gonna make a change, but it's the process.
We have to do it.
You can't run from the process because Martin Luther King and all of those folks, that's what they fought for. Everything that they was fighting for was so today the process can be fair, right? So at the end of the day, is the process fair? Hell no.
No.
Right.
But is it getting better? For sure.
There it is, Wyclef Jean. Thank you for taking us
Thank
back
you.
to school.
Thank you.
Man,
We needed
Wyclef
that.
Jean in the neighborhood, man. Always a pleasure to see
Yes.
you.
You too,
You know what I'm
fam.
saying? We
What
got to
an
make sure
honor.
that we get numbered up again because Lord knows I need to
we
use
get
you
numbered
again.
up, and you're big time, right? So it's hard to get you, but guess what? Let's meet somewhere in Europe.
With Dave Chappelle, please.
Yeah.
So you
Man,
can bring the
damn
Fugees
Dave
along,
Chappelle.
too.
Yeah, find
Please.
Chappelle
I'm
too.
going-
Yeah.
Can we all party together?
Please.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
gonna
make this happen.
Hey man, see if Dave answer that.
Come
phone.
on.
I'm gonna tell Dave Chappelle we're gonna put this damn reunion back together, man.
We need
up,
it.
Lou?
Yeah,
I'm in.
yeah. And even
I'm
if
gonna
it's
bug
not
him.
Dave Chappelle that pick up, tell Dave Chappelle is big boy.